everyone. Welcome to the podcast HASSDISCUSSES. We have another member of the Mike Media Empire joining the Empire. This is his first time ever joining the Empire of Mike Media. This is Patrick Burow. Link in the description to his YouTube channel and stuff like that. And he is a film critic, YouTuber. And I met him because I was playing some video games with J-Buck. Shouts out to J-Buck Studios. Shouts out to Soko Show. Shouts out to Seta. Shouts out to Cody, Michael. And we were just kind of fucking around on Twitch playing. What were we playing?
Fall Guys. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, yeah.
Back when that was like relevant or whatever.
Popular.
Yeah. And so we were talking about Obi-Wan. What do you think? What's your expectations for the Obi-Wan TV show?
Well, I'm expecting a proper duel to happen between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan in this is like before he was old man Obi-Wan in A New Hope, and between like what he was in Revenge of the Sith. So like I'd like to see a full suited Vader do the big stuff that we saw at the end of Rogue One, having a massive duel with Obi-Wan on Tatooine and everything, because like obviously Vader's going to be like, there's another force sensitive kid here in Tatooine, and Obi-Wan's the one overlooking Luke, so he's going to have to protect it, and a big duel's going to happen.
Yeah, but like, how is that going to happen if like, is he just going to duel him and lose and be like, all right, I'll come back 5 years later? Like
I don't reckon it will be a lose. I think it will be a matter of fact, like, because Vader has like the cybernetics and everything, it's going to be a matter of like injuring Vader or like dismembering him in such a way where Vader does need to retreat, where he will have no choice. But like, I don't know how they would even go into that, because we know basically nothing about this series so far, besides the fact that it's between Revenge and New Hope.
You know what I think they won't do, but I really want to see is I don't know if they do this. They probably wouldn't, but like something to do with Obi-Wan and Mandalorians.
Well, that's the thing. That's something I was thinking as well,
Duchess,
considering
his baddie.
Well, what was the name of the what is it, the creature that Din Djarin fought in the first episode of Mando season 2?
Fuck.
Because that's the sound that Obi-Wan makes in A New Hope when he saves Luke from the Tusken Raiders, and that's why they were scared and scurried away. So I want to know how Obi-Wan knew how to make that sound, or what his relationship might be with Tusken Raiders and Mandalorians in the process as well after the Battle of Mandalore.
So what do you think would happen with him and Tusken Raiders? Like, he just got in a bunch of battles with him, or is he like?
I think it'll be more of like
Raiders, dude. There's a lot of good stories about Tusken Raiders, like in the EU, because I'm a EU guy. I don't know about you.
Oh, okay. Not really. I'm not much of an extended universe guy.
Yeah, there's.
I used to be, but not much these days.
If I were to ever advise you, I would. I don't know if I'd advise you to read all the books. I would not. I would definitely recommend watch the 10-minute YouTube summaries, because nobody has time to fucking read a R.A. Salvatore fucking, or whoever, what random fantasy writer number 30 probably wrote. You know, like the big fantasy guys have probably, a majority of them have wrote a Star Wars EU book, because they just kind of let anybody do whatever the fuck they wanted. But they all really tied it together very well. But there's this one group of bad guys called the Yuuzhan Vong, and they're like, you ever heard of them?
No, I haven't, honestly. No.
So they come from a civilization on a different galaxy, like not even in the Star Wars galaxy, same universe.
Oh, okay.
But they were traveling in between the void for like hundreds of thousands of years, and stuff like that. The void in between the Star Wars galaxy and their galaxy. Their galaxy, they used to have a bunch of machinery and stuff like that, but they ended up like purging and committing mass genocide on any planet that had technology and stuff like that. And they have like and they have organic like beings that carry them in spaceships. Like they have little, they don't even drive the spaceships. They have little like aliens that they just literally sit in their stomach and they fly them through space. It sounds corny, but it looks cool. And there's this like weird bubble that carries them in. It sounds fucking weird, but they've been able to manipulate their biology as opposed to technology for gain and stuff like that. But they killed so many people that like people can't use the Force against them.
Right. What are these things called again?
The Yuuzhan Vong. I don't know how to spell it.
Google usually fixes it for me. Yuuzhan Vong, was it?
Yeah, Vong. 2 words. But Thrawn, the reason Thrawn wanted to like kind of get the Empire going again for the era of the Empire thing is because he wanted to fight the Yuuzhan Vong because he knew that they were coming, and they ended up having a giant ass war.
These things look dope.
Yeah, they're like some Middle Earth type shit.
Well, that's what I was thinking. They look like orcs or what is it? Even like skinnier Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings.
Skinnier Uruk-hai. That is a great dude. The Uruk-hai, man. Oh my god. Like I just
I got to see those movies at a marathon, actually. What is it? Just about a month or so ago in the 4K restoration in IMAX. All 3 of the Lord of the Rings movies, back-to-back extended editions. And, like, it was so awesome in 4K seeing the mouth of Saruman be like, old Greybeard.
Like, Benedict Cumberbatch, just fucking, like, oh my god. Like, that's...
Have you seen the behind-the-scenes videos of him as Smaug?
It looks like he's, like just like it looks weird, but it's cool. Like he had to study like reptilian movements or some shit. Like, dude,
it's not as it looks really cool actually, and I love how into it he is. But it's not like what is it? Cats, how the entire cast had to go to like cat school and everything to walk and move like a cat, and then the movie just bombed completely in the end anyway.
Yeah, it actually meant something, and I've been trying to edit this grandiose Hobbit trilogy video essay on why I think it's heavily underrated and overlooked, and how it is it is not equal, but it is almost equal to Lord of the Rings in my opinion, because I just love how it pulled from the appendices of the Lord of the Rings books and kind of mixed a lot of Lord of the Rings shit with, I don't know, I just love the Hobbit trilogy. Like, what's your take on the trilogy?
I really like An Unexpected Journey and Desolation as Smaug. I think they're up there with like Lord of the Rings. Like, a lot of people complain that Unexpected Journey was really slow, but when they're trying to incorporate one book into 3 movies, I think they actually did a really good job with the pacing. And I personally was never bored because they always had something happening with at least the dwarves or like exploring Thorin's background to always keep the audience interested, even if it is a slower paced scene. And that's something I really loved. And they also incorporate characters like Tariel and everything who were not in the books to create, keep that interest, to lengthen it out to 3 movies, because the book is shorter than each of the, Lord of the Rings books separately. And they split that one book into 3 movies.
Yeah, the book's like a really small children's book, because it was really, like, it was marketed
it's like 300
as a children's.
pages.
Yeah. In some versions, it's like 297, but like really, it's just small children. Yeah, it depends on the translation or company distributing it, because there's probably fucking 5,000 different versions of it. Anyways,
I think I have one that's like 340 so pages.
We're both reading English. That's weird.
I don't know.
But it was marketed as a children's book, and like, because kids back then, believe it or not, instead of playing PS4, they read for fun. So yeah, and they like, that was light work. Like The Hobbit now, like if you give a kid that's playing TikTok, you see a kid that's fucking on TikTok, and you take his phone and you give him The Hobbit, he's gonna start crying. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, even though that book is amazing. Honestly, the way that I look at it, the Hobbit book is better than the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy of books combined. But when it comes to the movies, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is stronger than the Hobbit trilogy of movies.
Yeah, man. And I don't think the Silmarillion's really that good of a book, but it's hella interesting. Like, it's
Which one, sorry?
The Silmarillion.
Yeah, I've actually got it up here. Actually, I've been reading it. Yeah. Honestly, don't love it. It has a lot of issues in regards to just, I don't know, the story is really not that interesting, but the lore that is being built behind everything is actually quite fascinating.
Oh yeah, it's basically a textbook, bro. It's just a bunch of fucking It's all third person most of the time. I think it's all third person.
I don't regret buying it though. It's still interesting enough in regards to lore, but like the narrative and like the third person aspect just doesn't really work.
What it is like, Tolkien just like fucking wrote 30,000 essays every day about some bullshit that he thought of, and his son on it just kind of gathered a bunch of notes,
mashed it together.
And the writing's weird. It's not even like that much of a story. Like, it's just kind of like, so there was a 400-year siege at Angband in front of Angband with Morgoth, and then the siege ended, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then they ended up keeping this guy hostage, and then and it's like all these huge, like 400-year siege. What? Like literally an entire city was built in front of Angband or wherever Morgoth's fucking lair was.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, just 400-year siege, and then next sentence, right? And it's like, bro, like Tolkien, like, and I don't think like, I don't know, Tolkien, like, this is what people gotta understand is Tolkien. It's not that he didn't care about his characters. It's that he was way more interested in, like, building a cool-ass world than, like, structuring a story for everybody's needs. Because he was a like, it's not like he was a I mean, it's not like he cared about, like, structure and all these emotions. He just wanted to make cool lore with all these weird languages that he made. Because he was a fucking English teacher. He taught, like, Anglo-Saxon literature at Cambridge, Oxford, big English school number 3. I don't know. You know what I mean?
And then that's also a similar problem, like what you've said about the Silmarillion is the same problem I kind of had with the Fall of Gondolin. That book as well has very, very similar issues in regards to just a bunch of stuff just being mashed together. And it just, I don't know, it just doesn't flow, doesn't seem like it makes sense, or like they're taking time with anything character-wise or narrative-wise. It's just purely to develop upon a lore.
Yeah, it's and when a new Star Wars movie comes out, and they have those like big ass DK novels that like that are like a couple hundred pages, and they have like pictures of everything and summaries, and then those Star Wars YouTube channels like automatically ejaculate and like take pictures of everything, and like so this animal looks like this, and it comes from this planet, and they're like, dude, whoa, and they end up somehow making a 15-minute video on one animal. And they get
which is just bizarre to me. Like I struggle. The other day I broke down the 21 Savage music video for the new Spiral movie because there was new footage for the movie in there, and I'm a massive Saw fan. I struggled to make a 12-minute video on all these different shots and what they mean, let alone like these Star Wars channels on this one fucking animal with little to no bloody explanation as to what they are, who they are, what their relation is, or anything. Like I just find that really bizarre. And like when you watch them, they just ramble on about bullshit for so long, and you're just like, okay, get to the fucking point.
Like Mike Zero, you ever seen him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will fight him. Oh my god. Like he just makes the same fucking bullshit. He's like, so Disney's gonna retcon the entire sequel trilogy.
Brie Larson cast in Star Wars. Brie Larson fired from Star Wars. Brie Larson woke Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god, I want Brie Larson to punch Mike. That's what I'd see. I'd see a Brie Larson and Mike Zero fight. That's what I watch.
Honestly, that would be very, very satisfying because all that what he's giving me right now is fucking chlamydia.
Yeah. Or you ever seen Geeks and Gamers?
Don't even mention it. The fucking sook they had over what Zack Snyder said in one of their fucking, what is it, that big like interview room podcast, and 2 of the Geeks and Gamers members were in there, and he's like, I don't want to talk about the stuff with Geeks and Gamers, we're not associated with them anymore. Then they went into a separate live stream on Geeks and Gamers and fucking complained about Zack for fucking ever. I'm like, well, you guys are the ones doing all this stingy shit. What did you expect?
Yeah, Did you see the they made a meme of like it was like a picture of the lead guy from Geeks and Gamers, and it was like Jeremy from it was like a news report thing. It was like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers drives over 13 college students at a university because they added forced diversity in their student film.
Oh my god.
It was like a little fake little Cause like, oh my, it's just so annoying to me. Like people are so like ungrateful when it comes to their entertainment, and that's why like I'm just vibing. I don't watch as much movies that I used to, but like I'm just vibing, and like I'm just watching like and enjoying whatever entertainment I can right now. Like
like I'm the exact same. Like I find it very hard to watch movies at home, even though I buy the Blu-rays. I struggle to stay focused when I'm watching a movie on like a small screen at home, whereas at the theater I'm just transfixed into the moment. Like that's why I don't watch many streaming platform movies or anything. Like I want to review Mitchell's vs. the Machines, but I just haven't had the motivation. Whereas if it's like a theater movie, I will always go out and see it. But like even if I give a bad review or a positive review to a movie, I'm just glad that we're getting movies, and I'm appreciative for the entertainment. And I'm always on the side of the filmmakers, because no matter what the product is, they always put a lot of effort in.
For
And when
sure.
people just bash the filmmakers and the film unnecessarily, it kind of just makes me sick. Because admittedly, I used to do that when I was younger, trying to get a following on YouTube, and I realized that wasn't the right way to go about it. I'll always give my honest opinion, but I'll always tell people to support the film and to always give it a go for their own opinion and everything, because film is subjective. I've always hated it when people are like, you're wrong about the film, this and this and this. And I'm like, well, sorry for having a fucking opinion. It's not objective.
Yeah, yeah, like, and I try and be very constructive with criticism. Like, I don't know the filmmaker, and I try and make movies and shit, but I never really end up doing it successfully. I'm trying, guys, and we can talk about your filmmaking endeavors later. But like, I'm trying to be like, I wish, like Tenet, for instance, the mixing. I was like, dude, the mixing in the beginning was fucking annoying as shit in my ears, and the beginning, the sound mixing of Tenet or some shit. Or like, I'll be like, hey, audience, turn it, or like if you're only watching Tenet on your phone, turn that shit down, okay, in the beginning, and you'll like save your ears. I don't know, like I just, I hate when people like the title of the review is like, you know what I mean, their thoughts of it.
Yeah.
And it's like so based on one thing. Like, that's why you gotta know the difference. I feel like for any movie critic, you gotta know the difference between film essay and review.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference, and nobody realizes that shit.
And that's why whenever I like review a movie, I never just talk about like the characters or the narrative. I go into like the lighting, the cinematography and everything, like the score, the sound mixing and everything as well, like the makeup, costuming. I try to do that because I try to like, you know, tackle as many departments as possible, because like that's what constructive criticism or what a review more or less should be, not just talking about your thoughts more per se. Like it should be a lot more than that.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what's that one movie from, like, it was like Legends of Hercules or some shit.
Hercules.
Yeah, the shitty Hercules that nobody likes.
The one where the guy looks like he's just wearing what is it, a drape the entire time as Hercules.
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing like some like fucking sixth grade theater production. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, that's an example of like, you know, maybe the script was all right or some shit, but like the costume design was so garbage and stuff. But honestly, man, like, have you ever looked up, like, I feel like with, besides the whole like superhero fan base and the franchise fan base that we got going on, I feel like what people really overlook in terms of films and film communities is the low budget horror
I love low budget horrors
Like,
so
you know, the
much. Like
community behind that, you know what I'm saying? Like Cool Duder and
yeah.
shit like that. And the
Yeah.
DVDs, I love that. People gotta like, like Thanksgiving is an example of a shitty one. Oh my god, I love
The
that.
entire Saw franchise is also a good example. The early Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movies were all made for like no money. Halloween which is arguably not the one that started the slasher genre, but boosted it into fandom and pop culture in regards to like as a subgenre. That movie was made for $350,000. And I feel like while we appreciate movies like that, there are other movies out there that don't get the appreciation they deserve for how little they were made for.
But what I love seeing is when a movie's made for so little, and when it blows up, people think that the people making it had some giant view and some giant vision that like means something in terms of like the way society runs or some shit. Like one time, did you see the fucking Halloween movie review? It was like, Halloween represents the male gaze or some shit. And it's like,
wait, what?
Like some bullshit like that. How, like, Michael Myers represents like the male gaze or some shit, and like, and Mr. Carpenter said, I don't remember what he said, but you can probably find in the Wikipedia article for Halloween. He just kind of called him out on his bullshit. Like, the reviewer, he was like, no, I just made a fun slasher, dude.
Yeah, and like ever since, it was even said in the dialogue of multiple Halloween movies that through Dr. Loomis's dialogue, when I looked in his eyes, all I saw was evil. Like, the representation of Michael Myers isn't really meant to be anything, but he is supposed to be the living embodiment of evil itself.
Yeah.
That's what it's always meant to be, not the male gaze.
Yeah, like and I'm not saying his movies are pointless, but he way more Carpenter wants to he's kind of like if Kubrick only made action movies, that's what Carpenter is, action or horror movies like only
Mm-hmm.
like he is like the exploitation version of like Kubrick cuz like it's all just fun
Mm-hmm.
experience driven movies. Like he doesn't care about like some giant emotion of everything, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like he's just like made like Assault on Precinct 13. Like he literally
Yep.
like the villains in the movie like who? I don't know their names,
Yeah.
but that's the
But
point.
like that's the thing. That's the point. Exactly. Like you don't need this bigger concept or mean to make a movie. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to make a great film. Like even The Thing is like that. Yeah, you're always going to remember that creature, but how did it arrive? What's its purpose? There is none.
Yeah, because like and I'm not saying everybody's gonna run into a situation like this, but like let's say you encounter some like rabid dog in the middle of the forest as you're going for a walk and you
You're not gonna
die.
know what its means is.
No, yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like that could
Like
happen to anybody. Like you encounter a fucking dog that's just about just I mean, hungry
and
motherfucker. You know what
sometimes
I'm saying?
trying to create that means or that narrative in regards to a purpose or motivation sometimes actually deteriorates the product and its quality. Like, for example, I'm going to bring it up again. Saw. What's the most effective Saw movie? The first one, because you don't know the moralistic values, you don't know the motivation of Jigsaw, aka John Kramer. You barely even know who this guy is, and that's why it's so effective. James and Lee Winnell never even intended for there to be sequels. They just wanted it to be this one movie that was left open for viewers' imagination and theories for it to be this very open and closed series. But then they made sequels. And the moment they started doing that is when it started falling apart, when they went into why John Kramer's doing this. What was his motivation? What started his work? Who his family is? That's when the series became a comedy and you stopped taking it serious because it tried to be something it wasn't in the first movie and even the second one for that matter.
I think how shitty the dialogue in the scary movies are when they're doing a exposition scene. You know how, and I think that you never like the scary movies, the parody movies, when they
Yeah.
do like a movie where they're like making fun of like where they're like you can
Like
tell the
your
writer
epic
was
movie,
like,
Your
okay, we're gonna make
Vampires
fun
Suck.
of The Ring now, so they have like a 5 minute exposition scene, and it's like the shittiest. So the Smiths heard that this daughter fell in the well, and then the
Yeah.
Smiths said that the daughter never came out of the well, and the Jimbo knew that the lady
Mm-hmm.
would never come out, and it's just like this thrown together bullshit sentence delivered in this overacted fashion, and I think that's when like you realize like that's I don't know, I love the scary movie. Shouts out to them, holy shit, and the Wayans brothers.
Like that's the thing. Like Scary Movie 3 onwards, I don't necessarily class as great movies, but they're entertaining because of how self-aware they are. And them doing what you've just said, like the over-the-top, what is it, expositional dialogue with the bad acting, is actually technically making fun of the crap and how absurd it is and how unnecessary it is as well.
Yeah.
They're actually a lot more clever than people give them credit for.
I got Scary Movie 3 over Psycho.
Oh, really?
No, I'm just saying some shit to piss some film fan off that thinks Pulp Fiction's their favorite movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, like Pulp Fiction's a good movie, but like the fan base, it's like the you ever follow those like Tarantino fan pages
Nope,
on
because guess what?
Instagram?
I've only ever seen 3 Tarantino movies.
I'm not saying I hate Tarantino, but like um the movies that everybody likes from him are the most simplistic movies that he's made. His good movies are like Jackie Brown, where it's like there's barely any action. It's
Mm-hmm.
way more romance and character based. And Once Upon a
Mm-hmm.
Time in Hollywood's a good example of that. And
Yeah, Once
Tarantino's
Upon a
like,
Time in Hollywood and the 2 Kill Bill movies are the only ones I've ever seen, and I love Kill Bill.
yeah. And you know, I kind of changed my opinion on this, but Kill Bill 2 I like better than the first one because it's less. I like because it's like just way more character based and less like
Mm-hmm.
fucking.
I can
Okay,
see
we're gonna
that.
kill 88 people. Like you know. What I'm saying?
Yeah. Granted, though, that what is it? That samurai fight at the end of Volume 1 is dope.
I actually like that part of the fight way better than like the 88 people, because you know who the person is that she's fighting.
Exactly.
Instead of like Asian schoolgirl number 3, who they introduced as soon as
just there to create a body count.
Yeah.
When there are nameless people who are just there to create a body count, immediately you just throw the stakes out there because you know that this nameless person is not going to kill our protagonist.
Yeah, but I think the best thing about Tarantino is that he like, I would never want to see him write fantasy lore, but when people write fantasy, they automatically have to know everything about every character, creature, object, and stuff like that. And he brings that mentality to normal life situations or less extraordinary situations, and that's why he's that good of a fucking writer, dude.
Yeah, I completely agree.
What other directors do you like look up to in terms of how detailed they are, or lack of detail? Like people who just if you're a fan of like guerrilla style filmmaking, if you know,
I'm a massive fan of Edgar Wright. For like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, Scott Pilgrim, because one thing that all those movies have in common, except for Baby Driver, is you know barely nothing about any of the characters throughout the entire Cornetto trilogy. And Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, besides a few key details. And that's why you connect to them so much, because you don't need to know all this unnecessary crap. And not only that, his directing style and his writing style is not just funny and engaging, but really, really different. Like, one thing that I need to point out is in Shaun of the Dead, which is my favorite of his movies ever. It's the use of repetition in that movie. Like the scene where he's walking down to the, corner store, and then he's walking back, and then the next day he does it, and it's the exact same. It's the exact same shot. It's the exact same structure and everything. The exact same crap is happening in the exact same locations, except turned over into like a zombie apocalypse now. And I just love his use of repetition and like the whole, as you said, how he's going to kill his dad. Like, go grab Liz, kill Phil, sorry, and then go to the Winchester, grab a cold pint and wait for all this to blow over. Like, I love his repetition of that stuff. His editing and his very fast, rapid editing style as well is great.
Yeah, man. It's like, and I forget the name of the girl, but I think in terms of editing, Scorsese knows what he's doing. It really depends on the movie, though. Like, if he's making some slow, like, whatever the Adam Driver movie was about religion, or something.
Black Klansman?
No, it was a Scorsese.
Oh wait,
it was Silence.
Oh yeah,
nobody watched that. Anyways,
I forgot that Adam Driver was in that. I just knew that Hiroyuki Sanada was in it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like Wolf of Wall Street editing, Casino editing, Goodfellas editing, is good, but I like Casino way better. That's like an unpopular opinion, but Casino is like way better edited, and the characters are way more funny. Like my favorite scene in Casino is when he gets in an argument with when what's his name Joe Pesci gets in an argument with Robert De Niro's like wife and stuff like that, and then she runs outside and stuff and is getting in her car and she's like yelling, "I'm gonna call the fucking FBI on you, fuck you," and he's like, and Joe Pesci's like, "Okay, yeah," and he's just like, or some shit like that, and he's like, okay, like just how everybody in that movie is comedically the worst person you've ever encountered watching like a movie, almost. Like, what's a movie with the shitty people in it that you really fuck with?
A movie with shitty people that I have a lot of fun with.
Sure, yeah.
Is that what you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, like that you enjoy.
Fuck. I kind of want to say
comedically bad people, like not like just shitty. They could be like violent characters. Like you could say Hostile or some shit. I don't know.
I know this is going to be very uncommon to say, but Human Centipede 3.
I haven't gotten into that series.
That fucking movie. Like, there's an entire castration scene with the warden just being a fucking prick. And, like, his performance is just so amazing because of how dumb it is. And, like, he's just the biggest asshole, but because of how big of an asshole he is, it's just funny. You get what I mean? Like, there's an entire scene of him just going fucking wacko psycho, grabbing a rod and burns it and full on fucking castrates an inmate, and then rubs his hand with all the testicle blood all over his face. And then he's like, "Where are my boiled testicles?" And then he full on eats.
Man, I wish I was an actor in that movie. Like, imagine how fun being that actor would be, dude. And, like, you know what I'm saying?
What was the actor's name? He sadly passed away. He's the best part of those crappy movies.
How's the IMDb is a look? I'm on IMDb. Go.
I don't think I am. Dieter Laser. He's a German actor.
Okay, well, I think we gotta talk about your film ventures if you want to get into that.
Okay.
So, when did you ever consider, like, when did you start writing films or anything creative?
I actually think I went back to, when I was in, like, primary school, like years prep through 7, like around about year 5 or 6, I started writing like movie ideas or like little mini scripts and everything because like as a kid I was bullied a lot and I used that as a means to escape. Like I'd take my trauma and create that on like page and adapt it into like a really short, like, 5-10 page script. And then when I got into high school, I started doing film studies and proper classes for film. And then like I started really writing short films in my own time around about like year 9 or 10. And like I mainly did it as like an escape. It was because of like depression, anxiety, and being bullied that I went into all that. And it started at a very young age because of that. And I'd adapt like my trauma and what happened to me into like those scripts to create something out of it.
That's dope. When have you ever made a short film or like what would you describe like how your films are, like what would you describe the genre of your films or like what you write about besides like trauma?
Horror.
Horror
definitely goes into horror. I have made short films before. One of the ones I'm most proud of, even though it's got the worst writing because there was no writing involved besides general stuff of like descriptive scenes and all that sort of stuff for like the directing side of it. We made a short film which was a spoof of the paranormal genre in regards to like paranormal possession. And my mates and I, literally the night before, we watched The Conjuring, and we heard the entire thing about like the conduit stuff and everything. And we were like, literally just turned to each other. We're like, let's make a short film about like a conduit. All right, what would be the conduit itself? What would be the object? How about a refrigerator? And we just went along with it. And we did an entire like spoof short film on like a demonically possessed refrigerator.
It's like real improvised.
It was all the dialogue was improvised and everything. The only thing that was really planned was like the pacing and the flow and the narrative itself.
That's so dope. That's dope.
Yeah. And we put a lot of work into it in regards to like the technical side of things, like mixing, the musical score, which I composed myself. What is it? The directing, the cinematography, lighting, and everything. We thought everything out really, really long and well because we wanted to do like some special filmmaking stuff. We even went and did research on how to do like VFX with rotoscoping, so like with invisible cuts and everything as well. And we did a lot of that stuff, and we're proud of the product with how it turned out. The dialogue and everything is crappy, and we're self-aware of that. But like we're fine with that because we just had such a fun time making it, and we shot it in such a short period of time.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and that inspires me, man. That inspires me. I made a couple short films, but like they're nothing that I'd ever want to share or release. You know what I mean? Like, but I've written probably like 50 to 75 short film scripts within the past 4 years or some shit, and I've probably written 100 or 200 feature film outlines, just some shit I'll come up with or something. But yeah, man, I love how you were mentioning how like you had some trauma or like shit that happened to you and you fucking vented that out and wrote about it. I kind of brought this up when I was talking with the homie Cody Michael. The Matrix is about the director's trauma, if you actually think about it. They're transgender, and I was like, dude, what? Yeah, that is crazy, and I love that. I fucking.
It's very interesting.
the reality and shit like that. What have you seen the Truman Show?
Yeah, I love the Truman Show. It's actually the only Jim Carrey movie I love. I don't like Jim Carrey that much, but that's because I'm not really into like his big, overly, eccentric personality when he acts.
Good evening, and good night.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of it because I don't see it more or less as acting. I see it more or less as performing. Nothing against him. He seems like the nicest guy in the world. And he has a ton of fun. And I do give him a lot of credit with a lot of his roles, like The Grinch, with that full latex suit and everything. That would have been so uncomfortable. Yeah. But The Truman Show, like, I loved seeing how down to earth it was in that story. And just everything about that movie. I watched it for the first time in high school for an English project. And I was just transfixed the entire time.
Yeah, man. Like, it's just so many, like, that's, the humor in that's so weird in the best possible way. Where she's like, Truman, do you want some mocha cocoa made from the Mount Pipatuba mountains where the water flows and it's on sale right now at $9.99? And he's like, who the hell are you talking to? It's like, dude, that's I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like we're always having a glitch in the Matrix or some shit. Like, you ever like hear some weird shit where you get someone's word? Like, one time someone said like AI is the devil to me, talking about like artificial intelligence, and I thought they said, "Hey, I am the devil" or some shit, and I was like, dude, you're the like I don't know, like, you ever have like,
dude, you're the devil? Please adopt me.
Yeah. You ever like, what concepts that are very, how do I say it, very normalized or mainstream do you debate in your head or contemplate in terms of existence? It could be like a religion, it could be a ideology, it could be a technological thing, it could be political. Do you have that?
I don't really contemplate any of it, nor do I argue with people about it, because like the way that I look at it, if that's how you want to be and that's what you believe in, then so be it. Like, you're all entitled to that, but the way that I look at it, it's more or less the way that people take it and go about it, like how they treat the whole, like, the stuff that was going on recently with like the super straight bullshit. Like, I just piss off, please. I don't care. And the whole thing of like, if you're not in the trans people or you won't date a trans person, you're transphobic. No, that's not the case at all. It's like that whole thing, like, I'm fine with someone in their ideology, I'm fine with someone in their religion, but if you try to force it upon me, that's when we have an issue.
Yeah.
And like the whole science of things as well. Like, I've never really understood the whole like non-binary thing. Like, don't get me wrong, they're completely fine with that. I have no problem with it. But the problem is when they're like, I changed my gender, now I'm this, and I'm like, physically speaking, yes, but genetically and biologically speaking, you are always going to be that gender you're born as due to the different XY chromosomes in regards to the male and female buildup. You can't change that.
Yeah, you might have just said you're a guy, but I saw your news and you have a pussy, so you know what I'm saying.
But even then, if they get like the bottom or top surgery,
no, I've had that.
Even if they get the bottom or like even if they get the bottom or top surgery, like, that's fine. And I have nothing against it. Like, one of my best friends, he's trans. His name is Joey, but was Abby. And I've known him since I was 6 months old. One thing I love about him is that he is not inept to the entire thing of like the whole I'm still female. It's just the testosterone treatment and like the medical treatment and having the surgeries done. Yeah, physically and everything, and identify as a male. And I've changed my gender, but biologically speaking, you never can change that.
Yeah, but well, let me add a side note. Is like, we're now like very able to like manipulate our environment. Like, who knows what we'll be able to do. Like, when like with the prosthetic, I feel like the prosthetic legs were in a step in a weird direction. Like, what will we be able to manipulate in the future? You know what I'm saying? Like, what will that be? But I feel like what people gotta learn to manipulate is not their tolerance, but their like the way they perceive information instead of like automatically shutting shit down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's just a fucking plague, is stigmas keep me up at night. Stigmas to classism, you know what I'm saying? And other stuff like that. There's a lot of isms
Yeah, and I've never agreed with like people having like an opinion or like trying to discuss something like an adult and then them being immediately shut down because like the other person doesn't want to hear the other side even though they've been given the chance to speak. You get what I mean?
Yeah, all these isms, man. I heard from a comedian once or a podcaster. I don't fucking know. Some Joe Rogan guy who thinks he's smart. He said all these isms, we need to throw them into the sea and realize that we're all humans and one day we can come together and build spaceships and go to interstellar planets and stuff. That's what keeps me going. That quote right there. I don't know about you. What is a representation of humanity in a sci-fi setting that you think is possible or do you look up to?
That's a really tricky question because there's so many. It's also such a vast and broad question as well. Like, you could go for like the Kubrick stuff with like 2001: A Space Odyssey, or even then, like you're talking about like what's possible and where humanity is going, more or less, and what could happen, right?
Yeah, it could be hopeful. It could be nihilistic.
Honestly, something that I'm hopeful for, but could be problematic, and was very well represented in Ridley Scott's The Martian. Like one day, I do think we will eventually get to explore other planets like Mars. But the problem is, if anything goes wrong due to us being unaware of, like, you know, say there is weather on the different planets and how they react, what could happen and what if someone's left behind? There are multiple things that could go wrong, but I do think that's something that will happen in the future and will need to be tested for not just the human race, but colonizations in regards to other planets if that's where we're going, because that's apparently something that's in the works. Like Elon Musk has been wanting to go to Mars for fucking years. Hence why South Park
how
has
much money is he gonna sink into it before we actually get there? I feel like he's gonna be starting to grow. I think he already is kind of doing this, but I think he's gonna be like having gray hair by the time we fucking get there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like every year he's like, all right, man, 2025, man, 2025 vision, 2020 vision. Like
it's kind of like what's happening with the film industry these days in regards to all these delays. Oh yeah, it's coming out this year. Nope, never mind.
Yeah. Oh my God, Dune's the one that really got me because I like read Dune. Like I rarely do that where I like look up the fucking book and read it before the movie comes out. But with Dune, like I was like, I went full in. I'm about to buy the sequel on the book.
I remember watching the original movie on TV years ago with Sir Patrick Stewart.
I would definitely recommend reading the book. It's like, and it came out in the 60s, so like,
okay.
And it's very how do I say this? It's gonna be the next Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, man. That's just my personal opinion because there's so much that comes out after the first. Because they're splitting the novel in two. They're gonna do like the first movie is gonna be the half of the first book and shit, but like, yes, it has small character moments, but like, it also has fucking Dave. It had. Let me give you the cast. Do you know the cast?
Dave Bautista, Demi Bichir, Jason Momoa, Zendaya, Timothy Chalamet,
Javier
Oscar
Bardem,
Isaac,
Josh Brolin.
Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin. Yeah, Demi Bichir's not in it. Sorry, that's my bad. I was thinking of Javier Bardem.
Yeah, and while it has like a very like the first book is very like hero's journey type of stuff and stuff like that, but there is a point where you kind of move past that. You know how the Fellowship of the Ring isn't boring necessarily, but it's not epic, you know what I'm saying? It's not hugely epic. That's how I describe Dune, is like the first book or first part of it isn't going to be that epic, but the later parts of it are going to be like, I'm talking like
insane
mass genocide with like 61 trillion people dying. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? Like that type of shit. I'm not saying that happens at the end of Dune. I'm saying like in the sequels and like some guy that descends from one of the characters like morphs with a sandworm and lives for 3,500 years. I'm talking that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And he ends up and they call him the God Emperor and shit like that. And I don't know what obscure like fantasy novels or sci-fi things that like nobody. What's one of them? What's a book that you recommend people? It could be sci-fi, fantasy, but what's a book or comic book series you recommend people?
When I was younger, a fantasy sort of book and series that I always really loved. I haven't read it in years, and I remember not much about it. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you on that. But I always was so invested in Ranger's Apprentice. You ever heard of Ranger's Apprentice?
Is that like about dragon? Is there dragons in that? Fuck, let me
Uh,
look that up.
it's been years, but I do always remember really, really, really loving
If I see
Ranger's
the cover,
Apprentice.
dude, I'll be like, oh. Let me
Because
see.
it's written by an Australian, I think. Yeah. Ranger's Apprentice is a series written by Australian author John Flanagan. The first novel in the series, The Ruins of Gorlin, was released in Australia on 1st of November
Never mind.
2004.
That's dope though, like the covers and shit. But I think I might have seen that in a library or something.
Yeah, the series follows the adventures of Will, an orphan who is chosen as an apprentice ranger, skilled trackers, archers, and warriors in the service of a king, Orolin, who strives to keep the kingdom of Orolin safe from invaders, traitors, and threats.
Yeah, man.
Which I think
Fantasy.
is just amazing because it's like an orphan chosen to be like an apprentice ranger to like protect like this city and everything.
Fantasy is kind of like gangster movies. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good quote. That's a good quote. That's a good. Somebody got to put that on a pillow. I'm gonna sell that on my Teespring site. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we know even though we're kind of like almost in an hour in, we gotta still talk about the YouTube channel. How did you start it? Beautiful, well-rounded, well fan-based YouTube channel. How did that start up?
Actually, similar story. Bullying and depression. I started in May 2000. Actually, today's 4 years since I started, May 3rd, 2017. It's May 3rd for me. Um, but I started because of being bullied and, depression and everything and anxiety. And it was a constant for me. And I always loved films. And I was just like, what's one way where I can go from writing my reviews and everything to like expressing them to people to more or less almost have it as a mask for myself and to let out a lot of anger and emotions and to lose myself. Um, and that's basically why I started YouTube, because I wanted like a platform to get my reviews out there and to just talk to an audience. And it was very slow coming, but even at the beginning where I was getting like, 5, 10 views per video for like a solid 6 months, like it didn't really worry me at all because I was doing what I enjoyed and it was really, really helping me. And that's why I continued and still am to this day, and why I've, gone to start doing it part time, because I started because of anxiety, depression, and bullying. And even though I'm not in school anymore and I haven't been bullied in years, there's still that depression and anxiety thing because of diagnosis. And it's just helped me really, really. It's helped me a lot, especially like reading comments every day of people like supporting me. And like recently, with me doing all the Saw movie content leading up to Spiral, I've seen a massive growth, not just on the channel, but in support for the channel and people loving my content. And it's that stuff that keeps me
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
And that's like that outlook I was looking for when I started and why I started.
yeah, man. I think I don't want to I don't want people to go through a lot of pain, but it certainly really balances you out and helps you fucking figure out what you got to do to like get
Mm-hmm.
yourself out of that spot. And that's why like when I hear stories of like, you know, everybody, someone going through a shitty moment and making something good out of that shitty moment, I often think about how that really applies to like almost any form of like big entertainers. Like you look at Chris Stuckman,
Yeah, with his video that
Jehovah's
he posted back
Witnesses.
in January with the Jehovah's
I wasn't happy
Witness.
about that, but I was like, oh, that's why he grinds out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Yeah.
why he's so motivated.
Yeah, and he doesn't even like the moralistic values or anything, and he said that in the video. He
Well,
doesn't agree with
he
it at
hated it,
all.
yeah, because he didn't he like not see his sister for like X amount of years because his sister got like
Hmm.
shunned or something. Like, you
I
imagine
believe
like
so.
you're forced to like hate your sister because she wouldn't conform to
No, it
like.
was his friend because he came out as gay.
Yeah, but I think it was that and also his sister. I could be wrong about his sister, but
Yeah.
and I love like how he did the double toasted thing, but then he also, because I love double toasted. Oh my god, they're one of my
Mm.
favorite channels for when it comes to film reviews.
Yeah.
And then he also just did his own video explaining everything. I was like, bro, that was mind
Mm.
blowing. And
And he also came out as what is it, pansexual, and that which a part of the Jehovah's he would not be allowed to. And everything, and he'd only told a few people leading up to that. And I think that's really, really inspiring. Although one might not agree with like the Jehovah's and him being a part of it, he was kind of forced into it due to his family and everything.
Yeah, that's hella inspiring. I didn't remember that part. All I remembered is that he left Jehovah's Witnesses, and it was like that's
yeah.
dope.
At the very end, he talked very briefly about being pansexual and how his wife is demi-pan.
Okay, let's go to Google.
I think it's more or less an attraction to emotion and people before they can do anything physical. I might be wrong on that.
Deep emotional connection with a person before feeling sexual attraction.
Yeah, there you go.
But isn't that like every other I'm done. Twitter's gonna get mad. Twitter's gonna get mad.
It also doesn't matter if it's like male or female either.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now it's more so about like, again, not against, but attracted to anybody really, but more so based off of emotion than sexual intentions. But okay, well, thank God I deactivated my Twitter, so there's not like a Mike has like I don't know. I deactivated my Twitter. Are you on Twitter anymore?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
Oh God, you get in arguments every day?
No, because whenever there's an argument that happens, I kind of just like, there are too many fucking snowflakes on the internet these days. If I have an opinion and voice, and I'm just going to be shunned. So I just stay out of it.
Yeah, since I'm a bisexual, so I asked someone who was like, also a bisexual. I was like, am I not allowed to like, am I supposed to be offended when people say faggot or call something gay? And they were like, and I had a beautiful answer. They were like, you can determine that for yourself or not, man. You can determine that for yourself. You don't have to let other people determine it for you, what you get offended by. And I was like, dude, that's great. Well, she was a girl, but like I was like, yeah, that's great. And I don't encourage people. I don't encourage people to say negative things to like people on the spectrum.
Yeah.
But like
that's why on my YouTube channel, like you will rarely ever see negative comments in my comment section because I just delete those because it's not a space that I want negative comments. I just want positivity and positivity only. So if I see a negative comment, half the time I just won't even read them. I'll just delete them because I just don't care.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that, unless it's like 500 comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's the 500 comments, I just ignore them.
Yeah, which I wish was
because they're not going to be found.
Yeah, but also I wish that was every video. And anyways, but
what is it? I actually had that with what is it? My Avengers Endgame, videos and everything, and like there were so many comments, and I'm just like negative comment delete. Okay, there's too many negative comments and everything, but like the good outweighs the bad, so I'm just gonna fucking leave it.
Yeah, one time I interviewed this because I interview a lot of rappers too, because like it's just fun, because like I fuck with rap music, and I interviewed this rapper guy, and he like there's like 50 dislikes and like 80 likes or something, and all the comments, because he does this self promo thing where he goes in a bunch of random. You can go to my channel, it'll be like Lil Op interview, like I mess with Lil Op and I have his phone number, he's cool, but like the comments are hilarious or something. But anyway.
Yeah, like I had a similar thing. I reviewed a movie called The Butterfly Effect 3 years ago, actually, and 106 likes to 367 dislikes.
Oh God!
Because I gave it a D- and did not like the movie at all.
Well, isn't that one of them like overly complicated purpose of life movies?
Yeah, it is, and that was one of my big problems with it because it was overcomplicated and like it just went too far. It never felt like it had a very steady narrative.
Oh God, yeah, like.
But like it was a matter of me in the comments. I'd reply to people and be like, "Look, if you enjoy the movie, that's completely fine. I'm not telling you you're not allowed to enjoy it. I'm just saying I don't enjoy it. I'm entitled to my opinion, which is subjective, just as you are to your subjective opinion." But people be like, "No, the movie's great. You're fucking wrong. You're fucking stupid." I'm like, "All right, well, peace out."
Well, as Nicki Minaj said, they keep hating, but still watching.
Yeah, that's exactly right, actually. I've had that so many times where I'll have haters in the comment sections like ask, "You've only got this many subs. How do you go to all these screenings and everything? Your channel's so fucking stupid. It sucks." And I'm like, well, guess what? You're clicking on the video. You're watching it. You're giving me the ad revenue. Thank you for helping my analytics. Please subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I wish I could feel like a little bit of that, but I'm almost monetized, very close. I just need the watch hours and stuff like that. But
That's the hardest part about getting monetized at the beginning. It's the watch hours.
I think that is going to my benefit though, because I prefer making content that's either over an hour. That's just how I like to do things, or over 45 minutes. Because like, even though I use TikTok, I hate the app, and I literally put in my bio, this account is only for you to check out my YouTube channel. I fucking hate this app. Like, that's literally in my TikTok bio. Like,
I
click
hate
the link
TikTok.
in my bio. Like, yeah, I only post like clips of video. Like, you're gonna see like a clip of some. Like, if I find a part of this podcast that I enjoy, I'll post a clip of it, put it on TikTok, and in a bright arrows, it'll say, "Click the link in my bio if you want to see the full video," and stuff like that. And
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, you know what? TikTok's a nice time waster at 2:00 in the fucking morning until I pass out with my phone on my face.
right.
Whereas
Yeah.
otherwise, I won't bloody touch it. I just don't.
Yeah, you ever like have your eyes like halfway shut and you're just like you're scrolling on something and you're like,
I'll sit there and I'm like lying down, just scrolling through TikTok, and I'll literally just be like,
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, up and down and shit.
yeah, and then eventually I'll pass out and I'll wake up and I'm like, oh, my phone's dead. All right, chuck it on charge, back to sleep.
Yeah, man. Oh my god, TikTok.
Sucks.
If you like TikTok and you like watching 15-second videos or 6-minute vines or whatever, you'll love Rise of Skywalker. If you have that attention span. Oh my god.
Look, people who enjoy the Rise of Skywalker, kudos to them. Like, they're more than what, you know. I'm happy that they enjoyed the movie more than I did.
The editor of that like was probably on cocaine.
Yeah, like I just looked at the product and like when I saw it, I left it there. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't great, but it was fine. Then I was driving home and all I could think of was more issues, and more issues. Then I realized the enjoyment level was for it being a time waster.
Yeah, it's just
like TikTok.
Yeah, I feel like they were just writing it as they were filming.
That's actually how it feels, which is actually ironic considering the film was rewritten entirely in only a short period of time after Colin Trevorrow's script was denied, which was Duel of the Fates and everything, that script. And I just had to rewrite it completely and then brought in J.J.
Abrams. Yeah, I heard
Abrams.
about that script. It's so dope. Like the way everything went.
Oh, the Duel of the Fates script was so good. It got leaked. Certain passages of that script got leaked months ago, and it's really damn solid, and I really wish we got that movie.
Yeah. Man, like.
But I'm not gonna ask for something we're never gonna get. That's not how the industry works.
Yeah, but also like it's not like the Snyder Cut where nothing was. It's not like the Snyder Cut where there was like half of it filmed. There was none of it filmed, guys. Did you guys know that?
That's exactly right. And like the whole, we're gonna retcon, sign this petition to retcon and remove the sequel trilogy from canon. I'm like, you do realize that Disney removed the UE from canon because it was never canon anyway, and you guys got salty about that. Now you're getting salty about expanded stuff that is brought in from, you know, the UE. Just not as well, but like they're bringing in certain things from that, and now you're being fucking salty about that. Like, come on. Like, I actually like the Leia using the Force to bring herself back into the ship because that is in the, the extended universe.
Oh, word. I just like being negative, so I'd like make fun of Last Jedi. I'm just joking. But I
love The Last Jedi.
I don't know. I just, I don't really like Star Wars that much. I only like a lot of like, I do like Star Wars, but like, I just like, I'm very like a prequel guy in Clone Wars. Like I love like.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
presuming you're excited for Bad Batch.
What?
I'm presuming you're excited for Bad Batch.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. But like,
comes out tomorrow.
I look at Star Wars as like some giant ass thing with you got to find a really good moment. It's not like everything's really good. That's just not true. You really got to dig to find a really great story. Like it's like Clone Wars really only has like it has a lot of great episodes, but like the main good ones are like not the ones that like you'd ever expect to have or happen. Like the one where Darth Maul does a false flag to take over the Mandalorian capital. That is one of the most well written TV show scripts ever, and he kills Pre Vizsla that episode. That's the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
and the whole the Night Sisters and Savage Press episodes are great with Ventress and
Yeah, the
everything looking for
training.
an.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I love the episode where what's her name gets killed by Savage Press during the battle between Maul, her Savage, and all that. Like I don't remember her name. This bugs me every single time I talk about this. I can never remember her name.
Asajj Ventress. She doesn't
No, it's
die.
which Jedi does Savage Press kill? There we go. Jedi Master Artigalia.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. And
That's a really
Savage was
good
a
battle and a
demon, bro.
really
Savage was awesome.
Savage was dope, and then the Emperor just kind of yeeted him out of the fucking Clone Wars.
You know, that's what we need. Is a Maul TV show, but like, nah, they would never. No, you know what I would think they would do is a Maul. No, they wouldn't do this, but imagine a Maul movie like before. I've read a book about Darth
Before
Maul.
Phantom Menace, when he was being trained by Palpatine.
Yeah, I read that. There's like a book about that or some shit. I forget what
Yeah.
it's called,
Mm-hmm.
but it was so dope. It was so dope. It was like yeah, he was like trained by he was trained by a drone before. Like he didn't meet Palpatine for a while. Like he was just kind of
And
brought
like,
to some facility by some rich like a bunch of robots, and he was like trained. And they gave him the tattoo. I don't know how he got the tattoos, but he
did
wasn't born with tattoos.
did you ever read the story with that takes place between Return of the Jedi and Empire with Luke Skywalker being trained in the ways of like combat and like saber fighting by a shock trooper?
Dude, what?
Yeah, he was kidnapped and like put in like an arena with someone who was actually a stormtrooper and didn't know, and he taught him how to fight. Because he was going up like against these big beasts that are like the Rancor and everything, and taught him how to fight properly, and it turns out he was like an ex-stormtrooper. That's how Luke became so efficient with saber fighting and everything between Empire and Return, not from Yoda, but from being trained by a stormtrooper.
Dude. Wow.
Like,
You know what I miss though about Star Wars? Like, and this is what I mean by like you gotta really dig to find a really good Star Wars story.
yeah,
The shit we're
well,
talking
that
about.
one, yeah, the Creel, what is it, story?
But let me show
They
you
will
the.
lose the rebels, and there is. Hang on, yeah, because it's Sergeant Creel.
Is it like a? Is it in a book or what
It's
is
a
it?
book.
What's it called? What's the book called?
Uh, biography. Let me see. Cybernetics, chronological and political information.
It'll be like first appearance probably. If it's
Yeah, it hasn't got his first appearance. Maybe it was a comic. Oh, here we go. Appearances first mentioned in Star Wars 9, Star Wars 10, 11, 12, identified as Creel. And then he appears in Star Wars 19, 21, 22, which is mentioned by opening crawl, 23, 24, 25, so on.
Oh, it's a comic thing. I'll look into it.
Yeah, and then Star Wars The Last Jedi, The Storms of Crate 1, he's also in. Because I'll read this out to you as well. Sergeant Creel, designated Agent 5241, was an undercover stormtrooper and scar trooper of the Galactic Empire, serving in the 501st Legion under the direct command of Darth Vader. He operated as the game master of Gracchus, the Hutt's arena on Nar Shaddaa. He was tasked with training new candidates to fight in the arena, including Luke Skywalker. During Skywalker's arena fight with Congo, the disemboweler Agent 5241 contacted the Empire to inform them that Skywalker was on Nar Shaddaa. After his mission on Nar Shaddaa was complete, Creel was given command of an elite group of Scar Troopers designated Task Force 99.
Do you remember Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron that was only released on the DS?
Yes.
That was a really good story. That was really good X2 story. Oh my god. So it's like X2 created from the DNA of a Jedi Master. I'm reading this on Wikipedia, by the way, but I played it. He joins the Rebel Alliance, but he took part. He fought in the Civil War and stuff and shit like that. Oh, whoa. Yeah. So he served in the New Republic, but he fought his brother X1 who became a Sith or some shit later, like way later, and it's like non-canonical Star Wars Legends, but like there's a scene with Luke. They have a battle in Mustafar, and I love that. That was amazing as well. This quality shitty, but like who cares? Like it's a DS game. The fuck do you expect?
Oh, who cares? What do you expect from a DS game, as you said?
Yeah, it's like in Falcon.
Like, what
Ray,
is it playing?
And it's on Dantooine. They have like, and they also have like a multiplayer thing earlier or some shit. And they also have like Dantooine is like, I wish there was a movie that had a scene on Dantooine.
Yeah.
But it's always in a fucking video game or some shit. Like, it's really a mystery planet to me. Like, I've seen it in, like, games and shit, but I don't know much about it. But what are you looking up?
Oh, I was just looking up because I had a mind blank. Do you remember playing Force Unleashed in Force Unleashed 2 on the DS?
Yeah.
So broken. Broken.
Yeah. Force Unleashed 2 on the DS was so bad. Like, but the Wii version is what I paid, and that was dope.
I played on PC.
Yeah. Xbox 360, I also had on an Xbox 360. That was really good. That was really good.
I don't know. I've just been a big fan of like the keyboard controls when it comes to gaming in general. Sometimes I'll play on PlayStation, but like playing Force Unleashed on keyboard and mouse is actually surprisingly comfortable.
I sold my PS4. Like, that's why I haven't been on and shit.
Yeah.
For a while. Anyway, I'm gonna focus on the content. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of content coming out soon. It's editing, man. Editing is key.
Yeah,
editing is key.
I've got a huge video to edit for a Saw 3D review, so that was a fun movie to fucking talk about. No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
Well, before we wrap this up, talk about anything you'd want to announce about your content or yourself to your
over the next couple. Well, I'm a massive Saw fan, so I'm going to be doing a lot of Saw content over the next couple of months, in particular, a series that I'm going to be doing on how I'm going to be, how I would survive every trap in each Saw movie. Would love to bring that, and I'm going to be doing that. Obviously, got more theory and analyzed videos coming out soon for Spiral before its release and afterwards. Obviously, my review, spoiler review, and ending explained. Also, going to be doing a lot more reviews for movies such as like the upcoming Those Who Wish Me Dead and all those new releases like Fast and Furious 9, The Conjuring 3, while they're being released. But also I've got a short film that I'm in the middle of pre-production at the moment as well, the writing stages that we're hopefully going to go into production for later around September, October this year. So basically the general niche. I also stream over on Twitch in regards to just video games, whether it's platinum completion runs or just general times to just talk to people while playing games like, Fall Guys or something. So that's really about it.
Link in the description to his content. And if you support me or if you support the Mike Media Empire, support Patrick Bro and click those links and watch his content. And if you enjoyed this, definitely check out the sponsors in the description. Audible trial, you got that. You got the Vice props. You want that fake money for your music videos or whatever the fuck. You can buy some props for shit in my code and all that. And Good Vibes Clothing if you want to support a local Middletown, Delaware business, stuff like that. Go in the description and check all that out. And thank you for joining the show, Patrick.
Thank you very much for having me.